Rokhsana Fiaz was elected Mayor of Newham in May 2018, the first directly elected female mayor of any London borough. Now, Newham is going through substantial change at the moment and lots of development. It includes the majority of the London Legacy Development Area, as well as the Royal Docks. And the Royal's got 1,200 acres of land. It's London's only enterprise zone, and it's also got the Mayor of London's backing. And it's probably the capital's most significant regeneration area right now. So, Rokhsana, you've recently published a COVID recovery strategy, which is a key strand for changing the metrics of economic success, moving it away from numbers to livelihood, well-being, and happiness. So, can you tell me how that works?
So you're absolutely right. In July, we launched what in effect is a recovery and reorientation strategy in response to the significant economic as well as health impact COVID-19 has had here in Newham. It comprises of 8 pillars. It builds on our commitment to community wealth building and everything that entails, including our embracing of an inclusive economy where everyone benefits and addressing some of those long-standing enduring issues of poverty and inequality that really have come to the surface through COVID-19. And it's not just recovery per se, it's a reorientation of the entire way in which we intend to rise to the challenge of the COVID-19 situation and what it presents us and some of its enduring features, because we know it's going to be with us for a long period of time. And it's also challenged our regular thinking about, how we live in a cosmopolitan urban context. But the most crucial element of our COVID-19 recovery and reorientation strategy is the fact that we will use it as the means through which we pursue a health, happiness and well-being output for all of our residents. And that's the basis on which we will be measuring our success as a borough and more importantly, our economic success. So it's profoundly important for us because it recognises, that we need to continue that effort and that endeavour to challenge inequality and poverty in our pursuit of social justice. But more than that, it's a specific response to what COVID-19 has brought into real sharp focus: the health inequalities that make too many of our residents in Newham vulnerable and at risk to COVID-19. We have a community that's very diverse, 75% ethnic minority, and we all know the disproportionate impact of COVID-19, but also the importance of ensuring that the health aspect is very much anchored in any recovery and reorientation strategy.
So high streets are a key pillar of your plans, and this is an area obviously been really badly affected by COVID-19. How can you support that key area of the local economy?
So we're absolutely clear that, again, building on our enduring commitment to sustainable transport, to localised output in terms of making sure that there are jobs and there's opportunities in those neighbourhoods that people live in, the COVID-19 recovery and reorientation strategy very much is anchored in the concept of a living, breathing, enabling neighbourhoods. So we've adopted the concept of that 15-minute neighbourhood. It's one of our core pillars, and we know that our recovery absolutely has to be located in those principal small town centres, high streets, where people live and reside, that is easy access to all those core essentials, be it food, be it other forms of retail, but also other provisions or services such as health. It's about knowing that in a COVID-19 reality, there will be a need to enable people to live and work in their localities, because there's a real concern about travelling on public transport. We have a population that necessarily has to service the wider London economy, and they have no choice, and we need to create choice for them. And our recovery is predicated on our high streets, because we know that our high streets are diverse, and they provide and can continue to provide a good offer for our resident populations. And notwithstanding COVID-19, you'll be very much alert to the impact the various economic changes have had on our local high streets, and in a sense leaving sort of ghost neighbourhoods, and we've got a role and responsibility to bring them back to life. And we need to ensure that as we work through what will be a particularly devastating recession here in Newham, we've got the highest number of furlough workers anywhere in the capital. We know the prognosis in terms of jobs that they can be rerouted to is going to be tough for at least the next sort of 6 to 12 months. So we've got to ensure that in the local area we're providing an offer, and we believe that through a targeting and focus of our recovery strategy towards those local high streets in our neighbourhoods, that could be the impetus to cushion our borough from the worst aspects of the recession.
So you're working with the Mayor to drive the transformation of the Royal Docks, which brings 13 million of good growth funding. So can you tell me a bit more about that and how you will fund change in the area? But also, I mean, you're going to ask investors to sign a business pledge, and which is also one of the pillars of recovery. How will you convince them to do that?
So the Royal Docks is London's only enterprise zone, and it's an ambitious 25-year programme where there will be some, £750 million invested over that period, creating new neighbourhoods, a new entrepreneurial business hub for the capital. Pre-COVID, we were working very closely with the GLA team, because it's a joint endeavour with the Mayor of London, the Mayor of Newham, the GLA and Newham Council, to vision a compelling future for the Royal Docks, which for a significant period of time in terms of our history was the area of a demonstration of the UK's industrial might. And part of our vision for the Royal Docks is ensuring it can demonstrate its contribution to transforming London into a sustainable global city that contributes to both UK GDP but also London's economy. And we very much want to ensure that the Royal Docks is and becomes the hub for green technology, for sustainability, and as much as it's a core contributor to the London economy, it also has to work for our local residents. There's been a significant amount of investment already. We've spent the past couple of years working on an activation of the area surrounding the water, the Royal Docks itself. We've also developed a really exciting cultural offer that we were able to sustain in a COVID secure way during the recent pandemic. And we also are seeing the emergence of some really significant housing delivery through the work and programs being driven by Lend-Lease on the Millennium Mill site, and also other parts of the docks. You've got the Albert Island side, and it's a real marvel. It's a beautiful space, a beautiful London space, and we are very fortunate in Newham to have such a waterscape with so much potential. And what's so unique about the Royal Docks is what we are evoking as part of its future is very much predicated on its great, glorious, industrious past. and it's about ensuring that we balance the opportunity for London as a global capital city, but also for local Newham residents. So we've baked in the community wealth building, the inclusive economy agenda that we have unveiled for Newham, and it's going to play a really important part in our recovery. We announced in July the launch of the Royal Docks Good Growth Fund, and in addition, we're making sure that the Royal Docks isn't just incubated in the south of the borough, and it's not just for that part of Newham. It has to have a connectivity with other parts of the borough, including what's emerging in the north of the borough through the work being driven via the London Legacy Development Corporation, for example, the East Bank development, and everything that's emerged in and around the Queen Elizabeth Park. So the Royal Docks Enterprise Zone is a really exciting proposition for London, but also for Newham, and I'm absolutely determined to ensure, as is the Mayor of London, both of us are committed in ensuring that local residents also feel that they have a stake in shaping its future, but also benefit.
And what is the business pledge that investors will need to sign up to?
So the business pledge that we're asking all local businesses, small, medium, large, join us in ensuring that Newham becomes, yes, a exciting place to do business, but that you will be shaping and helping us drive our recovery and reorientation strategy. And it's about ensuring that we don't compromise on those really important aspects of employment rights for workers. We have a situation pre-COVID where through research we undertook analysis, and we've been able to identify that up to 36,000 residents in Newham who are working are not even being paid the national minimum wage, which is a legal requirement, let alone the London living wage. And we've already, as a council, declared our intention to become a London living wage council, and we're progressing towards that. And we've had other organisations, businesses in the borough making a similar commitment. But what we're saying as part of the recovery, not least because the absolute scale of economic impact here in Newham as a consequence of COVID-19, as will be the case across London, that should not be used as a cover or an excuse for bad employment practices. So we're encouraging all of our local employers to sign up to the business pledge to be a contributor to Newham's recovery and reorientation in a way that demonstrates social justice and good.
Earlier this year, you launched at the Crystal your community wealth building strategy, which means that the purchasing power of the borough is actually used to go back into the local economy. So can you tell me more about that and how that's working?
So we're the 9th largest local authority in the country. We have an annual budget of 1.5 billion. We are amongst the largest landowner in the country. We have enough land to build circa 36,000 homes. We have made it really clear that under my leadership and my administration is very directional and interventionist in our pursuit for social justice and responding to the housing crisis. And in a borough where we have some of the most enduring features of poverty and inequality, which has been very much brought alive through the COVID-19 situation, we absolutely know that addressing poverty and inequality must be a resolute focus that we drive and pursue. In Newham, a child born in 2018 will have, if they're male, 3 years knocked off of their lives just simply because of the fact that they have grown up in Newham. A female equivalent born in 2018 will have 6 years knocked off of their lives, 6 years less worth of living, just simply because they've been brought up in Newham. And that's not because of choice, clearly, it's because of circumstance, it's because of poverty, health inequality. We have a situation where the median income of a working resident is £19,000 in a global city in the 21st century, that is London. We have a moral responsibility to address that, and that's why through the community wealth building agenda, which we have built on through our COVID-19 recovery and reorientation strategy, we're making sure that we pursue the use of our purchasing power to diversify the supply chain, our procurement processes, which are baked in the language of social value, so that we're enabling local businesses to get a look in, to have that opportunity, and spending the Newham pound in Newham for the benefit of our local community. And we're encouraging all of our local employers to sign up to the business pledge to be a contributor to Newham's recovery and reorientation in a way that demonstrates social justice and good.
Earlier this year, you launched at the Crystal your community wealth building strategy, which means that the purchasing power of the borough is actually used to go back into the local economy. So can you tell me more about that and how that's working?
So we're the 9th largest local authority in the country. We have an annual budget of 1.5 billion. We are amongst the largest landowner in the country. We have enough land to build circa 36,000 homes. We have made it really clear that under my leadership and my administration is very directional and interventionist in our pursuit for social justice and responding to the housing crisis. And in a borough where we have some of the most enduring features of poverty and inequality, which has been very much brought alive through the COVID-19 situation, we absolutely know that addressing poverty and inequality must be a resolute focus that we drive and pursue. In Newham, a child born in 2018 will have, if they're male, 3 years knocked off of their lives, just simply because of the fact that they have grown up in Newham. A female equivalent born in 2018 will have 6 years knocked off of their lives, 6 years less worth of living, just simply because they've been brought up in Newham. And that's not because of choice, clearly, it's because of circumstance, it's because of poverty, health inequality. We have a situation where the median income of a working resident is £19,000 in a global city in the 21st century, that is London. We have a moral responsibility to address that, and that's why through the community wealth building agenda, which we have built on through our COVID-19 recovery and reorientation strategy, we're making sure that we pursue the use of our purchasing power to diversify the supply chain, our procurement processes, which are baked in the language of social value, so that we're enabling local businesses to get a look in, to have that opportunity, and spending the Newham pound in Newham for the benefit of our local community. And we're encouraging some of our anchor partners to accelerate their commitment to do the same. So most recently had a conversation with our local health partners, and the way in which the health sector that covers Newham can be spending more of its pound in Newham, so that we're, incubating this virtuous cycle of recycling the money here for the benefit of Newham and our residents. So we're working through changes to procurement. We've established a new framework around procurement where social value very much is at the heart of some of our procurement processes and assessments, and every single procurement needs to demonstrate what social value output will be brought to bear, regardless of the scale and level of the contract value, and baking in the requirement to use local supplies, local businesses, employ local people. So the community wealth building strategy and the purchasing power component is really, really, really fundamental in towards keeping that £1.5 billion of money that we spend each year in the borough for the benefit of Newham residents, so that it's recycling that wealth for the benefit of our people.
Rokhsana, thank you very much for answering my questions, and at this very difficult time, good luck in helping the people of Newham. But we all hope that after COVID, we will see a more equitable city, and you're very much in the forefront of looking to deliver that. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Peter.